What did we do? Oh, we put a mattress pad down in our closet. Robyn slept in the closet.
Seriously.
And she had both boys with her. And then when they would wake up and be hungry, she brought the boys to me, helped me like sit up and stuff, feed one of the boys, and then give the boy back to Robyn, and she'd go back to bed.
So I know that some people think, why are you sleeping in the closet? That's weird. But then it's just like, well, it's really close. It's convenient. Their closet's huge. I could be close.
She didn't get any sleep. She's sleeping right.
She doesn't even, and she wouldn't want it.
TLC seriously needs to give up on this ridiculous campaign to make Robyn look good. It's embarrassing at this point. She could disappear for weeks and leave her kids behind, but Kody can't even manage to leave his to attend his daughter's surgery. Honestly, I wouldn't have invited her in the first place. And now Robyn's over here, trying to do some desperate damage control by bending over backward for the one non-Robyn kid who still liked her. Liked being the key word, because even Tony and Mykelti have apparently had enough of her now. Meanwhile, the way Mykelti treats her mom is awful, and Christine handles it with such grace. It's infuriating that Kody&Robyn is the one playing grandma, when that honor should have belonged to Christine. Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel, Reality Nexus X. It's me, Elena, and I hope you're all having a fantastic day. Thanks for tuning in. Keep watching. Now, let's dive into today's video. Madison just posted this on her Instagram story, and honestly, good for her. Poor Madison. Can you imagine your own father publicly trashing you on national TV? It's heartbreaking, but I've got to say, I'm proud of her for not letting it break her. Maddie's grown into a strong young woman, and if Kody thinks he can belittle and manipulate her the way he's used to treating women, he's got another thing coming. He and Robyn keep poking at the cubs, not realizing that cubs grow up to be lions and lionesses. It's especially sad because she was so vulnerable when she asked him to officiate her wedding and even named her second child after him. And what did she get in return? He was smug, dismissive. She tried so hard. And let's not forget the way he literally panted like a dog while talking about how badly Janelle and Christine supposedly wanted him and his family. That alone would have been enough for me. I'd never speak to anyone who disrespected my mom like that. So good on you, Maddie and Caleb. Keep standing your ground. However, it sounds like Maddie cutting Kody off from Axel and Evie at her wedding was a power move, and honestly, I can't blame her. Janelle even explained that Maddie didn't want him randomly dropping in, pretending to have a close relationship with her kids when it wasn't genuine. That actually reminds me of his interaction with Avalon in Season 19, Episode 1. It struck me as odd that we never saw Kody hold her, even though he tried engaging with her while Ysabel held her. Avalon wasn't crying or anything, just looking at him like, who is this guy? But after that, she was quickly back in Mykelti's arms, almost like she didn't want to deal with him. Here's my theory. Maybe Avalon did cry when he tried to hold her because, as Janelle said, who is this guy? Mykelti probably had to step in to calm her down. Since the show seems to be on a mission to rehab Kody's image, they likely cut the part where Avalon rejected him so he wouldn't come off looking too bad. Bottom line, Maddie's absolutely right to keep him out of her kids' lives. Kody isn't intentional with his time. Sure, it was always going to be hard for him to be as involved as Janelle, given how many kids he has, but a weekly check-in or an annual visit would have gone a long way to show he cared. Instead, Kody uses the excuse of needing to give the maximum as a reason for why he can't even do the bare minimum. At the end of the day, Kody's an entitled father. He thinks his kids owe him their time and love just because he's their father, but love and respect are earned. He didn't raise those kids, their moms did. Maddie knows how painful his inconsistency was, and she's simply protecting her kids from feeling that same hurt. He's only upset now because he's lost control, not just of his wives, but of their children too. After each episode, I usually head to Kody&Robyn's Instagram accounts just to watch people go off on some random 2019 post, roasting them left and right. But today, I was kind of bummed to see that Kody has actually deleted his account, and Robyn has turned off all the comments on hers. Honestly, not surprising, but still a letdown for anyone who enjoys the spectacle. Then, I found out that I've been personally blocked by Kody Brown. I feel oddly flattered. Although, apparently, his IG is still up, and people are definitely still going off in the comments. I don't really follow their social media much, but after Garrison's passing, I heard people were attacking and blaming Kody&Robyn for it. While I can't stand either of them, the way people piled on was unnecessary and out of line. If they turned off comments or took a step back from social media, that's probably why. I don't blame them for that. Grieving while getting flooded with hundreds of hateful messages blaming you for someone's death? That's just awful. I saw some of those screenshots, and it was brutal. Plus, it's hilarious how Sister Wives star Kody Brown spent years making it clear he wouldn't even spit on Meri if she were on fire, but now, suddenly, after 3 divorces in 1 year, he's heartbroken. His relationship with Meri hasn't changed at all since that final chat last year, but here we are. Every single thing in his life is just another chance for him to twist the narrative. Whatever makes him look better, whether it's as the victim or the one in control. And honestly, it's getting boring. We all know Kody will say one thing and contradict it in the next breath. He claims his crime was not loving their mothers, yet he immediately blamed Maddie for telling Janelle he never loved her because, according to him, he never did. He can stay on the show for all I care, but do we really still need to suffer through the whole patriarch's routine, where everything has to be filtered through his perspective? I don't care to hear his opinions on childbirth or get dragged through another round of his rants about loyalty and betrayal. If there's going to be a gay night with the women, I'd much rather hear them say it like it is, without him sucking up the air in the room. The truth is, Kody's divorce from Meri isn't about heartbreak. It's about bruising his ego. It affects how he appears to the public and, of course, his income. For 30 years, he was the smarmy polygamist, manipulating everyone to his advantage, and he loved that identity. He was comfortable in that role. What's striking this season is how all 4 wives are hopeful for the future and moving forward, embracing their new normal. While Kody's still stuck in junior high mean girl mode a whole year later. We get it. Kody is emotionally immature, but most of us find it dumb and exhausting. It's about time the wives left, because they deserve a man who actually cares. Also, Sister Wives star Robyn Brown's whole sob story about her father blew my mind, especially when you think about what she did to her own kid's biological father. How do you claim to know the heartbreak of having an absent father, then turn around and do the same thing? It almost feels like a fabricated narrative because I don't recall her ever talking about her dad like this before. Where was this story hiding until now? And don't even get me started on the staging of that scene with Kody. His car still had frost and icicles on it, and it was painfully obvious the whole thing was set up. We can all agree this was staged, right? What's even worse is that Robyn pulled the same stunt with her first 3 biological kids, cutting off their dad, and then basically did it again to Kody's original 13 children, most of whom lived in the same city. She's all about control and isolation. But I'll admit, it made me happy to see those different Thanksgiving celebrations, where everyone, except Robyn and Kody, was surrounded by family. It's telling that no one wanted to be with them. I wish someone had brought that up during the couch sessions because it speaks volumes. Robyn strikes me as the type who would say, "My dad wasn't around and I turned out fine, so suck it up," because she clearly lacks empathy. She expects everyone to empathize with her, spinning these relatable stories, but they just don't land because we know she doesn't have the capacity for genuine empathy. And the frustrating part? She's not introspective enough to connect her own behavior with what she experienced as a child. It's infuriating to watch. I was screaming at my TV during that whole scene. Just last Christmas, we saw her telling Kody it wasn't safe to see his kids at Meri's, but now she's pretending to be this knight in shining armor. suddenly fighting for Kody's relationship with his kids. Please. As well as sister wives star Kody Brown mocking his kids' pain by saying, "What did I do but say I didn't love their mom?" is just outrageous. Can you imagine hearing your own father say he never loved your mother? That's not just hurtful, it's devastating. He refuses to take any responsibility for his actions. I finally caught up on the episode I missed yesterday, and honestly, he makes my blood boil. It's infuriating how he seems to want his kids to come crawling back to him, yet he refers to them as those people. He genuinely doesn't believe he's done anything wrong. It's mind-blowing how he can be so callous about their feelings. Plus, when will the Mykelti and Tony show finally end? They're like those special guests who just refuse to leave. Honestly, I could not care less about these two, and to be real, they give me the ick. They're just so desperate to stay in front of the camera. Come on, TLC, is there seriously no other content to show? Yes, I know the answer's obvious. This season is seriously dragging. I guess we're stuck with them because most of the other adult kids have zero interest in being on screen. But I'll say it, Tony just creeps me out. And don't even get me started on Mykelti constantly singing Robyn's praises to Christine, going on and on about how amazingly helpful Robyn has been. Then Tony jumps in too. Like really? Seeing Christine put on that positive, cheerful front was a masterclass in self-control. One just dying to know which of the kids finally had the guts to tell Kody he's a total jerk who brainwashed them all. After watching the absolute train wreck that was Sunday's episode, my inner snarker can't help but guess it's gotta be Hunter. I mean, come on, he's got that snarky flair, and he definitely seems like he'd have the courage to say it. Any other predictions? Garrison's a solid contender, too. He's outspoken and furious enough to actually voice it, so he's definitely in the running. But let's take a moment to appreciate the sheer irony here. The fact that we don't know who said it, and that so many of the kids seem to be thinking the same thing, really highlights what a colossal problem Kody is. I can't help but think brainwashing would be something a true believer would notice, so maybe Leon's our candidate. Honestly, my first thought was Paedon. If this is right after the wedding, this was probably around the time Kody was trying to get TLC to threaten the kids who dared to speak up. Paedon was definitely furious, especially since his call was all about Kody's image and not, hey, how's your life going? But if we're placing bets, I'm putting my money on Hunter. He's really stepped up as the family's man of the house for most of his siblings. He was absolutely furious when Kody blew off Isabel's surgery. Hearing her call out for her dad as she woke up, that shattered something inside him, and Christine, something that's probably irreparable. Furthermore, in defense of Robyn, hear me out. Earlier this year, I paid a whopping $38 an hour for overnight help with my second, and definitely last baby. Honestly, I would have loved to have a Robyn in my life to just hand me a baby to nurse while letting me catch some zizz, free of charge, just because she cared. Now, I'm not about to defend any of her other antics. We all know they're, well, a bit much. But I'd forgive a lot if I had someone like Robyn around during those exhausting newborn days. Especially after a C-section. I mean, come on, that's major abdominal surgery. I'm genuinely happy for Mykelti getting that kind of support, but I'm also a little jealous. Sure, a lot of Robyn's behavior is beyond excusable, but let's face it, you can tell who really loves you by who shows up to help you through your 4th trimester. And Robyn being there to lend a hand, that's love, my friends. Seriously, that's the only thing I'll give her credit for. My mother-in-law did something similar for me, but at least we had a guest room for her. No closet sleeping for her. I'm forever grateful for that. The first week was a nightmare because HR completely missiled me about my pay during maternity leave, so I was scrambling to figure out finances. Let's be real, no one is entirely bad or entirely good. Even bad people can do nice things, and good people can have their moments. It's a little odd that Robyn could take 2 or 3 weeks off to help my Keltie, while Kody's excuse for ghosting the original families and skipping out on Ysabel's serious surgery was that the tenders needed them both at Robyn's house. Makes me think she might have known this would be filmed, and she was just looking for a redemptive storyline. However, Sister Wives star Robyn Brown is the absolute epitome of selfishness. That stage scene, it just made Kody's relationship with his kids even worse. Robyn knows Kody like the back of her hand. She knew he'd take that opportunity to talk trash about his kids on TV. I mean, come on, we all knew he would. And there are people out there praising Robyn. Seriously? Does anyone actually believe that a scene like that on television would magically improve Kody's relationship with his children? Let's be real. In a setup like that, Kody's going to spill his usual nonsense about his kids and ex-wives. It's like clockwork. And as if to prove that, both Kody and Robyn completely validated their children's feelings in the worst way possible. I felt so sorry for Maddie. That scene must have stung even more for her, and it's clear that Janelle's kids are probably just as furious with their dad now. I mean, come on, Garrison is gone, and TLC's just terrible for airing this. Robyn? She didn't care about Kody's kids or even Kody himself. It's all about her and how she looks. Honestly, she's the most manipulative person I've ever seen. Additionally, I didn't love your mother, classic Kody, right? He's out here blaming Maddie for the rift in their relationship, claiming she called Janelle and told her I didn't love her, which was a lie. Apparently, Maddie is responsible for stirring the pot by spreading a rumor that he didn't love Janelle, and all this sowed division. Then, in the very next breath, he declares, "Our family was killed by gossip." But wait, it gets better. In an interview, he turns around and says, "She, Robyn, never did anything to you, the kids. What are you complaining about? I just loved her, and I didn't love your mother. Okay. So there's the guilt. The guilt lies there." My word, this man is completely oblivious to his own contradictions. He claims Maddie is lying when she tells her mother Kody doesn't love her, yet he says those exact words himself. This, man, is insufferable. How does he not understand that telling your adult children, "I never loved your mother," is one of the most hurtful and destabilizing things a father could say? He keeps insisting, "That's all I did wrong," as if that's some minor detail. Newsflash, Kody, it's not small at all. He's admitted on national television that he never loved the other 3 wives, yet he gets upset when Maddie echoes what he's been saying repeatedly. Honestly, I don't see a problem with Maddie telling her mother the truth about Kody's feelings. Janelle deserved to know, and I'm glad it came from one of her kids instead of being a bombshell on TV. Kody and Robyn are both disgusting. It's obvious they don't want to repair their relationships with the other kids. They just want to avoid being seen as the terrible people they are. Nothing about this scripted puppet show screamed, "Please forgive us, let's move forward." No, it was all about, "We're not wrong, you are, stay away." And let's not overlook how much Kody seems to revel in declaring that he didn't love his first 3 wives. The way he says it with such glee suggests he relishes every moment. It's almost like it's cathartic for him after losing 2 wives, and Meri? She only left when he shoved her out the door. The man keeps repeating it with such passion that it's clear he just can't get enough of hearing himself say it. Moreover, did Kody forget he's the dad? The adult? Sheesh, the latest episode is hard to stomach. Listening to Kody rant about everything his wives and kids have done wrong is mind-blowing. Like, seriously? Just because his children don't pick up a couple of his calls doesn't mean he gets to throw in the towel. They're dealing with some serious stuff, especially after their dad isolated them during COVID. But no, instead of trying harder, he's thriving on playing the victim in this whole mess. Let's get one thing straight, he's the adult here. Yes, some of his kids are adults now, but that doesn't change the fact that he's the father in this parental relationship. He's supposed to be the grown-up in this dynamic. Age shouldn't change that. Kody chose to have all these kids, and he also chose to isolate them. He should be the one showing development and maturity, stepping up as a parental figure instead of giving up on them. It's heartbreaking to think about how his kids must feel if this is the vibe he gives off to us as viewers. And can we talk about how many times he says trigger? Holy crap. My theory? Their family structure was practically set up for failure. Kody has relied on his wives to do the heavy lifting when it comes to parenting. You can see it in the episodes where Janelle has to discipline Garrison with little to no support from Kody. Now, he expects his wives to somehow parent his children back into communication with him. What a setup! Feel free to share your thoughts in the comment section below. I'd love to hear whether you agree or disagree with my perspective. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking it, subscribing, and hitting the notification bell for future updates. Thank you.